1,042 new calls this year versus last year for our HVAC and plumbing client. This is the local SEO case study for our client, First Rate Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. I'm going to share with you where they were at when they came to us. They were dealing with a very specific problem that you might have in your business. They went through a big transformation with us. We recommended and took action on 4 different strategies, 4 things that we went headlong into, along with a laundry list of others that we'll detail in the case study. If you go to the description below this video, you can find out all the information, screenshots, data to back up what I'm talking about here as part of the study. And then we'll round out with 3 things this client did well that enabled the success of this particular campaign. So just to reiterate, this is the result of only local SEO. This is only from search-based traffic, does not include other methods like Google Ads, local service ads, meta marketing, does not include email and database management. Okay, this is strictly SEO, local search results. Okay, so that's massive, 25.4% increase year over year, going from 4,093 leads, phone call generated the previous year to 5,135 the next year. How do we do it? Well, first, where they started. Okay, Andrea, the president of First Rate Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, came to us because after 3 years of working with her previous provider, iMarket, she noticed that the growth on the search engine side had plateaued. So she had a multi-channel approach that was being executed on. It had Facebook, it had social media, it had email marketing, it had website stuff, it had SEO, it had a lot of the things that you need to be successful in HVAC and plumbing. But the one thing that's critical for the success and growth is the search engine side. And they weren't doing a good job of that. So things had plateaued after the first few years. She gave them a whole year to do better, and they were unable to substantiate growth in that time. So that's why she came to us. This critical part needed to be addressed. She knew we had the strategy to help her get to the next level. So the first thing that we did, and there's 4 things that we did when we assumed control of this campaign. The first one is one that a lot of contractors deal with, but don't know about it when they get into bed with a new agency. Her website was built on a proprietary platform that could not be taken anywhere. So in changing her campaign over, she was on rented land, rented space. We had to rebuild the website completely on a platform that she could own and take anywhere. So we chose WordPress, and that will allow her the flexibility and the agency to do whatever she needs to do with it in the future. The reality was, if she moved the website, it would slowly become a security issue. The site was not going to be supported by the proprietary platform. Just a lot of issues with that. When businesses set this up, when agencies set this up for their clients, it's good for the agency. It's easy for them to manage it. It also locks the clients in for the future, and it makes it incredibly difficult and painful to move. So we helped to navigate that painful process. We rebuilt the entire, I think it was 200 something page website on a new platform that she owned moving forward. So we got over that initial hurdle, and then we executed, once we cleaned everything up in the first 2 to 3 months, we executed our multi-location Google business strategy. And so one of the things that people don't realize is that Google has changed the game with regards to proximity over the last 5 years. So how close you are to the business when you're searching dictates who shows up in the search. It's the number one factor affecting Google business visibility. The second reason why we suggested the multi-location strategy is because if you look at your data at all, you'll notice that over 70%, in a lot of cases over 80% of all the leads generated come directly from the Google business profile. People never even reach the website before they're making that call. So knowing these 2 pieces of information, we knew that carving out a second location in a nearby suburb that was relatively untapped by the competition, one major competitor in a suburb with over 100,000 people versus the major metro they're operating in with over 600,000 people, one major competitor in the suburb versus, 30, 40, 50 plus in the major metro means shooting fish in a barrel. So what we did is we did the strategy audit to figure out the best place to find a second location. We made sure it checked all the boxes for Google in terms of it being a real office, a real lease, and we made sure that it was located in an area that served as an advantage, a place where there weren't a lot of competitors, that she could stake her claim and slowly build up market share over time. So that's what we did. Okay. And over the course of the next 18 months, over 300 new reviews were added to this Google business listing. And so a huge proportion of the growth that we saw in this year over year comparison, over 60% of it was directly from this new location. We built a second location about a year later into this campaign, and that one was responsible for about 20% of the lift. And the last 20% was from the initial Google business profile that the company started with, which now has over 1,000 reviews. Okay. So the last two things that we did, you could even consider them to be one thing or one of the same. Although some companies miss this stuff, we built a significant number of new pages for the website. So previously there were only pages directed towards their main metropolitan area, Albuquerque, New Mexico. What we did is we built some pages that address the entire state of New Mexico. Under that, we built a bunch of pages that are directly about Albuquerque, about the new location in Rio Rancho, and some of the other satellite areas that we're starting to target and put on the radar for next year. So those pages are built. They're now available. They can be searched and found by anybody who needs the services. That's the first step. If there's no pages that are specific to the area that you want to target, if there's no pages specific to the individual services that you render, it's going to be really hard for Google or any search method to find your business and make that recommendation. So we laid a lot of this groundwork in that first year. And we also worked through a lot of internal linking, making sure the pages are correctly mapped with each other, the structure is accurate and good for search engines, but also makes sense for people. This is what we did in order to create the result. There is a laundry list of other items that we did as well, but these four things are the major contributing factors to this massive year over year growth. So the result, again, from 4,093 phone calls in the first year to 5,135 phone calls in the second year, just looking at search channels, this is a pretty significant result, leading to a lot of new business, growth, and market penetration in this new suburb that the business did not have before. So I think the three reasons why this was so successful, and seeing yourself in this case study, if you want results like this, there is an element that you're responsible for as the HVAC and plumbing owner. Okay. And really it's to get out of the way and to enable the agency to execute on the strategy. So here's some things that Andrea did exceptionally well that allowed this campaign to do as well as it did. So first thing was, when the suggestions were made to execute on this strategy, it was less than 3 weeks before a lease was signed. So she found the space, a couple of spaces. I helped vet those spaces and choose the right one. The lease was signed, the place was furnished, and we were able to verify that new location just like that. I've had other cases with business owners, similar industry, where it's taken 7 months just to find a space and get it together. So fast action is super important. Second thing that's being done well is all phone calls are answered, and they're answered quickly. So last month, there were over 700 phone calls generated. Guess how many they missed? 3. That's it. So that's operational excellence in action. The third and final reason this worked out well is because this client is financially savvy. So she knows all of her numbers. She has a business coach that knows what industry benchmarks actually look like. She's aiming for those benchmarks. She knows what her marketing budget is. She knows how much she can pay for a lead and what's acceptable and what is not. So when it came time to look at this second location, we had to know what the break-even point of the location was. Okay, if this lease cost this much a month, how many phone calls do we need to generate to close X% in order to break even? So our initial goal was to break even within the first 3 to 4 months. That happened almost immediately, and we've just seen the upswing since then. But you have to know what your numbers are to be able to lean into marketing that may not pay out for 3 to 6 months. And that's what's critical here, right? So if you own an HVAC and plumbing company that's got hundreds of reviews, you're noticing that Google is strangling you slowly over time, and you're getting less and less over a year. We have the strategies and the ways in place that will work to grow your business, fight against the changes that are happening with AI and search as it is, so that you can stay and be on top when everything settles down. If you're interested in that, reach out to us here at Building Blocks Digital. There's a link you can schedule a call with me below this video. Love to walk you through the strategies and things that are working right now to help your business get on the map, continue to grow, and thrive moving forward. That being said, I appreciate you for watching this video. I look forward to the chance to work with your business and help you reach new heights this next year. Bye for now. Thanks so much for watching my video. If you like this one, you'll love some of the other videos we have posted here on our channel that help blue-collar business owners get more out of their digital marketing. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, check out the other videos. If you got questions or comments, post them below. I look forward to catching you on the next video. Bye for now.